Doing well. So in today's lesson, we are going to learn how to calculate the circumference of a circle. So make sure you've got your notes jotter so that you can again take any notes that you feel necessary throughout this lesson. Okay, so we're going to begin by looking at previous knowledge from last day's lesson. We learned last day that this red outer perimeter of the circle is now referred to as the circumference of the circle, and we would use the letter C for circumference. We also learned that the line stretching from one point of the circumference to the other going directly through the centre of the circle is referred to as the diameter, and the line that stretches from the centre to one point of the circumference is called the radius. We also learned last day that the diameter is twice the length of the radius. Okay, so this is going to be vital information that we are going to require in order to be successful in today's lesson. Okay, so let's look at our learning intentions for today's lesson. Today, we will hopefully learn how to calculate the circumference of a circle. We will have been successful if we can use the formula for calculating the circumference of the circle of any circle successfully. Okay, so going forward now in our circle topic, we are going to need to be introduced to a new number, and that new number is pi. Now, this is a Greek symbol that we use, and it just stands for a number, but this number is no new number. It has been around for almost 4,000 years, okay? So we are not the first mathematicians to use it, and we won't be the last. The Babylonians in 1900 to 1680 BC recorded using the value for pi of 3.125, which isn't too far off at all. The Egyptians approximated pi to be 3.1605 in 1650 BC. And it was in the 1700s that mathematicians started to use the symbol for pi, so they adopted this Greek letter to stand for pi. And we're still going to use it today, okay? But we are much more advanced today. We know 31 trillion digits of pi. That was last discovered in 2019, and there's still mathematicians researching that today. But we'll just use 3.14, okay? Most of our scientific calculators should have a pi button on them. You might need to figure out how to use that. It is usually above the exponential button on your calculator, so you will need to access this through the shift key of your calculator. But you can always Google that if you're not sure, or you can ask me. Okay, so let's look at a formula for calculating circumference. To calculate the circumference of a circle, we must know the diameter. Then we apply this formula, C equals pi times d. And because of our algebra knowledge, we know that we can just write this as C equals pi d. So let's look at example 1. Calculate the circumference of this circle with a diameter of 5. So we are told here that this circle has a diameter of 5. So just like our area, we are going to apply formula, substitution, then answer. So let's start with our formula, C equals pi d. In our next line of working, we are going to take our diameter, which is 5, and we are going to substitute 5 in place of d, so that means pi times 5. Using your pi button in your calculator, you're going to type in pi times 5, and I'm just going to stick to rounding to one decimal place throughout this lesson today. So 15.7. Let's not forget about my units. It is a unit of length, centimetres. Okay, so we've got our formula, substitution, answer. Okay, and like I said, I'm going to stick to rounding to one decimal place. Example 2, calculate the circumference of this circle. This circle, we are not being told whether that is a diameter or radius, but because it does stretch from one point of the circumference to the other, and we can see that it would go through the centre if the measurement was in here, that is a diameter of 8 centimetres. So C equals pi d, formula, substitution, and typing that into our calculator, answer of 25.1 centimetres. And again, that is rounded to one decimal place. Okay, calculate the circumference of this circle with a radius of 6. So this time we are being given a radius of 6 centimetres. We need the diameter. The diameter is twice the length of the radius, so it is 2 times 6, which is going to give me 12 centimetres. C equals pi d. Make sure we sub in the 12. C equals pi times 12. And that is 37.7 centimetres. And our last example, calculate the circumference of this circle. Again, we are not told whether that is a diameter or a radius, but because it goes from the centre to one point of the circumference, I can say that is a radius of 2.1 centimetres. The diameter is twice the radius, which is 4.2 centimetres. Now I can just substitute that into my circumference formula. And put that into my calculator. It is not wrong to use 3.14. However, we will not get an answer as accurate if we use 3.14. So I would prefer you to use your pi button if possible, because your rounding will be slightly different. Okay guys, I will set you some tasks to do on this just to make sure you've got an understanding. I will also put a little survey up to see if we feel like we've met the success criteria today. But apart from that, that is all from me. I hope you all have a nice day and I'll catch up with you tomorrow. Okay, thanks guys, bye.